So on Friday, we did our first in-person kind of like event, okay, the Traders Boardroom. And it was great to see some of the community. It was really, really good. Some people flew from Switzerland, which was amazing. And this is where I can kind of deep dive into the bigger problems from traders. Now, our traders, some of them are different levels, but they've been trading for a while. They've got systems in place and they're still struggling with certain things. And this is one of the reasons why I always do a lot of psychology videos. And the reason being is because that is the key thing when it comes to obviously your trading success. Someone asked me the other day, I actually commented on a video saying, never see any strategy videos and things like that. And they completely forgot or probably didn't even take the time out to see that we was trading live for 6 months every day, well, Fridays. And the reason being is because I believe technical analysis videos are 10 to a dozen. They're everywhere for you to see. But I am going to give you some of that source and introduce you to the way that we trade on a more technical level in future videos. But today's video is addressing two of the biggest issues that these traders had. And you're probably going to have exactly the same ones, which was FOMO and revenge trading. You've heard this a million times and you're going through this and you can't understand why you can't get your head around it. And what was interesting on Friday was I deep dive and asked more questions. Why do you think you do this? And explain why you do this. And what was interesting with the traders was this. Let's get a little bit central here. Which was interesting was this. They knew that they were doing wrong, but they just could not control what was actually happening at that split second. Now, if you've watched my videos, you'll know that the psychology in trading is across the board exactly the same. And that's why I preach about systems. And again, that's why we introduced the precision stack system, the way that we trade, because this allows you to regulate that emotional intelligence, those triggers, what you're going for. But FOMO, I want to start with FOMO. Now, fear of missing out, of course, it's simple, but why don't you address it in trading? Why do you not address it in your everyday life when you see that new cashmere jumper or that new handbag that you want? Impulsively, you just buy that because you think that that's going to be the last item and you're the only person that can get it, fear of missing out. And what was interesting was when I spoke to the traders yesterday and I asked them their thought process around this and how it actually triggered revenge trading. So step one was fear of missing out. And that was if they were waiting for a trade all day or their setup presented and they missed that trade because they did not have an alarm set or they was doing another job because a lot of traders work or they were busy with the family and they came back to the charts and seen that that trade had already played out, they jumped in too late chasing candles. And the instant that they jumped in too late chasing those candles, they knew on an emotional level that it was incorrect. What happened then was they were not aware of all the other thought process, as all the other anxieties and greed and fear, all these emotional triggers that entered the minute or the second that they entered a FOMO trade, because that was the beginning of the cycle of then going into revenge trading, which I will touch on in a moment. But again, let's go back to the FOMO. Another incident was getting into a trade before it hit your level or before you had your confluences. This was another thing. Now, what happens here is sometimes that works out for you and you get rewarded, like go and check the last video, for actually not following your rules, and you get rewarded for misbehaving, which is a recipe for disaster because in the long run you're going to lose more than you're going to win that way of trading. It's not sustainable. But what was interesting, again, that was the beginning of the revenge trading, because sometimes it would play out, the FOMO, and great, I've chased the candle. But the majority of the time it didn't. And then it did come down or up towards a level where they were looking to enter the trade. They'd already been stopped out 2 or 3 times by trying to get in too early. The trade played out, gave it those confirmations, and then they didn't enter that trade through fear of losing the first 2 trades or blowing their capital. So when it comes to the fear of missing out, what can you do? Well, instantly, when you get to your level or when you get to your confirmations, click the lock account button. Now you can do this on most prop firms. If you're trading prop firms, you can actually do this manually on some of your personal accounts as well. But if you are looking to trade on the 5-minute term time frame, well, once you get to your level and say you're looking for a 3 candle formation like we do, that's a 15-minute window before you can even enter the trade. Now, some you may use a 100 tick chart if you're more advanced, as I've spoken about, but we'll keep it simple for this video. If you come down to your level and you're looking too long and you're looking for a 3 candle with a 4th candle entry, that is a 15-minute wait. That means you can lock your accounts for that 15 minutes. That is one thing that you're going to need to do. Another thing is this. Do not enter a trade until you have the alarm triggered on your charts. So how you can do that is you can set your alarms and then you can have a trigger. So you know that that trigger subconsciously will then highlight you that maybe there's a possibility that you can get into the trade. So if you can subconsciously develop triggers within your mind, they're just going to happen with ease. They're going to go with flow, and you're not going to subconsciously, you're just going to do it like you do bad habits or like you do good habits. Waking up at the same time every day, drinking the same amount of water. They are just subconscious habits. Can you get that when it comes to trading your levels? Now again, I did mention at the beginning, one triggers the other, and it is FOMO that then triggers revenge trading. Now how does that happen? If you get into FOMO and you know you're in the wrong trade and you chase and you get stopped out, and you might then do it again, that then triggers an emotion which is you think that the market has then done you over because you've not followed your rules, but because you're not taking accountability, you're blaming the market. And you think then the market owes you something back. So you want revenge, you want your money back, you want that blown account back. And when we were speaking to the community on Friday at the Traders Boardroom, revenge trading was then the middle step to completely blowing everything and going on tilt. Now, I'm not going to turn around and say I don't go on tilt, because that would be a lie. I'm not going to turn around and say I don't blow accounts. That would be a lie, because some of the best traders that I've known and heard of stories even down in the city of London, they've gone on tilt after 3 years of being disciplined and lost their careers. So that would be a lie for me to say that. But when revenge trading kicks in, there's a high probability that you are going to blow or go on tilt and lose your accounts. And that is something that you must be aware of when you're trading. Because if FOMO is going to trigger revenge trading, and then revenge trading is going to trigger your worst possible tilt days, you need to get to the source. And the source is going to be FOMO. And how you're going to sort that FOMO out is, like I've said, you're going to develop and give yourself time over a period of time to consistently do a habit, to stop revenge trading. Revenge trading will creep in and you will not know what you are doing. It is that stimuli gap response. A lot of the time we don't even have a gap. We just go straight into the response and triggers, and it's completely wrong. So how are we going to get rid of all these bad habits over the course of a period of time? We're going to concentrate on the one rule process. And the one rule process, you've seen it in business, you've seen it in fitness, you've seen it across the board, is where we are going to concentrate on one thing at a time for a period of time. So what I suggest that you do after watching this video is go away and write these 3 things down. Number 1 trading strategy. That's what you're going to be doing. You don't need to jump around YouTube. You don't need to jump around Discord. That is a rookie retail beginner way to lose money. Okay? And that's probably what you're doing right now if you're watching this video, because you're trying to get profitable. Get away from the beginner mindset of trading and take it as a career. So 1 strategy, 1 asset is going to be what you're going to be concentrating on. Not 15 assets, not what your friend's doing, not what another YouTuber's doing. Stick to 1 asset. And then what you're going to do, you're going to do that for now for 1 month. Only 1 month. Now in the process, once you get deeper, you're going to do it for 1 year. But you're going to do it for 1 month. What this is going to allow you to do is collect the data, whether that's through a private platform, whether that's through a Google Docs, to see what works for you and what does not work for you. And I can guarantee that if you've got a solid strategy, you will be amazed and your mind will be blown of how much success you can get by doing 1 strategy, 1 asset for 1 month. And then what you're going to do is you're going to do 1 asset, 1 strategy for 1 year. And that's what I did, and that then allowed me to then teach and coach other people along the way. And if you need any help in coaching or any help in accountability, strategy, getting you through your bottleneck so you can be a consistent trader, there is a link below. You can jump on that link, you can jump on a call with me, once you've gone through a few survey questions, and we will get you to them 10K months. Now, 10K months is the figure that's thrown around the internet quite a lot. And the reason that is because that is the figure that people start to feel that they can live comfortably, build family, enjoy, and have that little bit of breathing room to live the life that they want. And I want you to do that along the way. So again, if you need any help with that, you know where I am. But follow the one strategy, one asset for 1 month, and then tune back in with me, and we'll see where we are at in the future.